Now, the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Last year, Michigan State's football team lost by 4 points to Boston College on the road. It was the smallest margin of defeat MSU had in its 5-7 season. This past Saturday, the Spartans had a rematch with BC here at Spartan Stadium, and this time around, it went in favor of MSU in dramatic fashion. The Spartans were wearing black uniforms with white helmets for this night game after an MSU muff punt set up BC with great scoring position. Fortune would swing back to the Spartans quickly. Jordan Hall punches the ball loose from Turbo Richard at the goal line, and MSU recovers in the end zone. A huge swing, and the Spartans would march right down the field on the ensuing drive. Aiden Childs connects with Nick Marsh, and he carries a flock of Eagles into the end zone for 6 to get MSU on the board first. A back-and-forth first half with less than a minute to go until halftime. Dylan Lonergan stands strong in the pocket and throws a dime to Reed Harris in the back of the end zone. BC was up 21-14 at the break. MSU answered on the first drive of the third. Childs had all day to throw and airs it out to Marsh, who hauls in a 41-yard touchdown as things are all square once again. A back-and-forth battle all night long. Final minute of regulation, a scary sight for MSU as Aiden Childs would go down injured. He was all right though, and we would head to overtime. Childs back out on the field. He slings a touchdown pass to Jay Coyne to put MSU up 34-27. Boston College would answer with a 6-yard touchdown and scored again to open double overtime. So MSU needed a touchdown to extend the game, and Childs gets in to tie things at 40. The Spartans would have to go for 2 to win it. Childs connects with Omari Kelly in the back of the end zone to walk it off. Michigan State wins a dramatic double overtime thriller, 42-40, on a night the Spartans just refused to give in. Our Desharian McBroom was there and has more.
Spartan Stadium was electric from start to finish in double overtime. Nick Marsh shared with us something after the game that head coach Jonathan Smith always says to them: the more connected you are, the more committed you become. And on Saturday against Boston College, the Spartans were committed to a big-time win.
This game for us was very important. It tested, our brotherhood, our strength as a team. It tested how can we handle adversity, going into overtime. Going into double overtime, actually, and, just keep fighting and keep straining. That showed a lot about us.
Yeah, I think there's been growth. There's a closeness, a bond that we got to do this thing together. Experience, we've got some more experience. I mean, I go back to playing these guys last year. That experience, we need to learn from every game and that kind of thing. But I do think the confidence grew offensively in the second half.
We wanted it. We wanted that game. We needed that game. We faced adversity. I don't think it's a great football team we just played against, but they didn't have any adversity last week. So it's just, it just came out to see who was the tougher team, and today we were.
After last season's heartbreaking loss to Boston College, many people would think that Michigan State was out for revenge this season when they played that game again. But junior captain linebacker Jordan Hall says that was not the case. They were playing this game to better themselves. And on Saturday, they got a little bit better with that big win.
I got a little emotional after the game, just given that, the 3 years that I've been here, those are the games that we let slip away, and that sigh of relief a little bit that this is finally one that we got our hands on.
As an offense, we came out and we played a second half. We finished 4 quarters and we finished 2 overtimes. So it's just that's big growth in a week to see. Forget about what happened last year. It's all about what we are now. And this is the team that I want to ride or die with right now.
After the big win over Boston College, many Michigan State players said the big difference between last season's team and this season's team is just more committed. And we'll get to see more of that commitment come week 3 against Youngstown State. At Spartan Stadium, I'm Desharian McBroom.
Also this weekend, Michigan State will be inducting new members into its Athletics Hall of Fame. It features former football coach Mark D'Antonio, as well as former basketball player and Lansing Eastern grad Sam Vincent. A little bit later in the show, we'll sit down with Jonathan Smith to talk about the role D'Antonio has played in him getting comfortable here at Michigan State. Coming up after the break, we're going to be sitting down with the person who caught the game-winning two-point conversion this past Saturday against Boston College, Omari Kelly. We'll see you soon.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope.
What about when you use a debit card?
Not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
Michigan State's walk-off two-point conversion against Boston College this past Saturday was caught by wide receiver Omari Kelly. Our Tyler Driesinga recently sat down with the Middle Tennessee State transfer and shares how he is seizing every opportunity, and that catch against the Eagles was just the latest example.
Play action. Backside for the win. Got it. Omari Kelly.
Just 2 games into his MSU career, Omari Kelly helped create a lifelong memory for the 70,000 fans who were in Spartans Stadium last Saturday. After fumbling twice earlier in the game, Kelly's game winner was a redemptive moment, symbolic of his college career to this point.
Something I live by is don't flinch. Like, whatever happens, you know, however things go, good or bad, don't flinch.
Kelly grew up in Alabama, living with his mother Kendra and one of his older brothers, DeMarcus.
So my brother lives in North Carolina. He watches every game on TV if he can't come out here. And my mom, she makes every game. Like, it don't matter what's going on at home. Like, she gonna make sure she's out here. And they express, like, they're very proud of me. My mom actually cried after the Western Michigan game. I was trying to figure out why, but she was crying.
The tears may stem from the long road Kelly has traveled to reach this point, a road he never expected to take him so far from home.
It's kind of crazy to think about now that I'm like 12 hours from home, but you know, I just take it one day at a time. You know, I know at the end of the day it's a business and I have to do my job at the end of the day.
Kelly didn't play wide receiver until late in his sophomore year of high school, and from the beginning, his speed helped set him apart.
How old were you when you realized, you know, maybe you weren't just fast compared to your friends, but your speed was a real asset that could take you places?
Not till I got to high school, honestly. Like, I knew I was fast, but I didn't really think much of it until, so what really made me think about it was when I went to Alabama camp, and they gave me the catapult, and I ran like 22 miles an hour. And that's when Coach Saban was still coaching there, and he brought me in his office and he told me that, and I was like, oh, like, that's fast.
But speed is just a starting point for a good wide receiver, and Kelly points to one high school assistant coach who really prepared him to play the position at the next level.
I can really say that my senior year in high school, my coach, Gene Cherizal, was probably the most impactful coach that I had, and he, you know, kind of helped develop me as a receiver. Not saying, you know, my other coaches didn't do that, but he was the one that he kind of took me under his wing more so and kind of helped me get to where I am now.
To hear that, you know, it's humbling to know that I actually added on to his game, that I've helped him improve, and, you know, hopefully, like, you know, wherever he goes on to that, you know, there was something in there that he can always go back to his base.
Caught by Omari Kelly. Kelly received a host of Division I offers and signed with Auburn coming out of high school.
It wasn't so much like the being close to home thing. It was more so just I felt like I could have played my freshman year, and I did play, but I thought I could have, you know, started and made a bigger impact than what I really did.
And what were the biggest things that you learned there in your 2 years, both as a player and as a person, you know, living on your own for the first time?
Take advantage of every opportunity you get, big or small. I feel like you just have to capitalize on every opportunity you get, because it could be an opportunity that you don't even know that you really need, and if you just kind of, you know, halfway do it, you know, it might lead to something else that not really what you were looking for.
The role Kelly envisioned for himself at Auburn never fully materialized, and he entered the transfer portal after his sophomore season.
It was an emotional decision, I would say. I wasn't really getting much playing time, and I just felt like, you know, some people weren't really being honest with me, and I was over it, honestly, just was ready to leave. And Middle Tennessee, you know, I knew some of the coaches that were on the staff, and they knew who I was. and just the familiarity, honestly, was what made me go there.
You had a big year there. What do you feel like you proved to yourself and to others in your year at Middle Tennessee State?
That I really can do it, because going into it, I wasn't confident in myself at all. I didn't really know what I was going to be able to do there. I just know that I was going to get a chance to do something, and I just tried to do what I could.
Omari Kelly, it's a punt return for a score.
Kelly earned first-team All-Conference USA honors in his lone season in Murfreesboro. The main lesson he learned at Auburn, to take advantage of every opportunity, served him well at MTSU and gave him a chance to transfer back to the Power 4 level.
How would you describe the culture at MSU as somebody who's played at 2 other programs? What makes it similar or different from other places that you've been?
This is a different culture than Middle Tennessee and Auburn. Like, as far as just, I can just speak on the big rivalry game, the school down the road, just that in itself, like being in the Iron Bowl and being in this, like, this is a whole different, like, environment when it comes to that rivalry. Like, it's a very, very strong, I don't want to say hate, but disliking for the other team, on both sides, obviously. And just that in general showed me that, like, the culture here is different. Like, it's very deep.
Kelly has fit right in at MSU. He led the Spartans in receiving in his first game against Western Michigan, and against Boston College, he sent Spartan Nation into a frenzy, and 12 hours away made his hometown beam with pride.
I tuned in, got to watch it. Man, we're really proud of them. I mean, us as a football program, we showed it on Sunday to our kids. The legacy continues. Like I said, we're a proud football program. We have a lot of guys right now playing college football. Got a couple of guys right now in the league. So we're always going to try to, show our current high school kids, this is what your future can be. This is who you can be like. Omari is a standard. So for him to, get a game winner, in double overtime, I mean, I'm happy he's getting this story.
Kelly's 2-point conversion was the first game-winning walk-off Michigan State has had since 2022, when Jaden Reed caught a touchdown in double overtime to give MSU a win over Wisconsin. Coming up after the break, we're going to be sitting down with a player who was on that 2022 team and has seen a lot during his time in the green and white. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
6 years and 3 coaches later, Sam Edwards has seen a lot during his time at Michigan State. The Lansing Catholic grad was a part of Mark D'Antonio's final recruiting class and came to MSU as a preferred walk-on. Edwards is viewed as a glue guy around the locker room and received the most votes by the players to be a captain this season. Our Kara Adams recently sat down with Edwards to talk more about his journey growing up as an MSU fan in the Mark D'Antonio era to now being a captain for the green and white.
Leaders can't really have bad days, and whether or not that's fair doesn't really matter. You got to be able to show up and be the same person that people can lean on.
Sam Edwards has become that person for his teammates to lean on. The Lansing Catholic alum and Michigan State captain is in his 6th and final season as a Spartan.
Growing up around here, being a football kid, being around this facility, I remember meeting Javon Ringer as a freshman or sophomore or whatever in my dad's office, and so just seeing this program do the special things that they did as a child and into my teen years definitely sort of instilled that type of football mentality in me.
But he also comes from a football family.
My sister was definitely involved. I joke she knows a lot about football, sometimes more than some guys, but yeah, I grew up playing with my brother, not as much in football, but like baseball, I'd always play up with him. And so that sort of helped me grow as a competitor. Like I was always trying to play up a level. my little brothers played, my older brother played in high school, so it was definitely a football household. And it'd be funny, you'd turn on the tape from our middle school games, our high school games, you could always hear my mom in the stands in the background, so she was always loud and proud.
And after a successful high school career, it came time for Sam to decide on his next step. But Michigan State was never on his radar.
I was sort of always looking sort of D2, 1AA, some of the Patriot League schools, Pioneer League schools, little Ivy League. And then throughout my senior year, I kind of had a good year. And Coach D noticed and wanted to give me an opportunity as a preferred walk-on.
So when you decided to come here, was there ever any hesitation, like, should I go somewhere else where I can play more, or is it, I can't pass up this opportunity?
I fell in love with that process of the development, and even if I wasn't seeing the field early, which I didn't, just the process of being here, being in this building every day with the high level of coaching and development, being around guys that are pushing you to be better.
And that process and love for Michigan State from a young age has kept him around.
I feel so much pride for this place. I want to get us back, be a part of getting us back to where we were. There's definitely been uncertain times. I can't say I didn't think at different times that maybe the grass might be greener, but it doesn't get better than Michigan State football, and the people around here are so special, and so I really wanted to stick it out and be there for this place and build something here.
He's been able to keep his own ship steady, if you will, through the storms and stay focused. He's very grounded, very grounded in his faith, very grounded as an individual and in his schoolwork, and it always has had, always been a big-time self-motivator.
When Coach Smith arrived with a plan to build something in East Lansing, Sam was all in.
First team meeting with Coach Smith, when he talked about what he wants to do here and really how he wants to do it, I was all in with that, and I believe so much in him and his approach. The low ego, high output, I'm all for that. And so just getting with him, and then Coach Rossi's such a good football mind, and so sitting with him, talking scheme, talking about what he wanted to build here defensively, I again got hooked and didn't want to pass this up.
A conversation with Tom Izzo confirmed his decision to stay.
I just sat down with Coach Izzo and we talked about that. I mean, we talked about what the options were and sort of what this place meant to me, what it means to him, and just in general more so what it means to have a home and have a place where you can put your name on a legacy and like I said, helping build something.
And his teammates were all in too. Sam received the most votes from his teammates to earn the title of captain.
It meant the world to me. I mean, like you said, it's 6 years, a long time. There's so many ups and downs in that journey. So many times you don't really know what's going to happen next. And so just to see sort of that approach that I really tried to commit to of consistency and showing up and being in love with the process, seeing that sort of be recognized and two, just the love and respect and admiration I have for the guys in the locker room to get their votes. It's one thing to be selected captain maybe by coaches that see one side of you, but being voted by the guys that see me in the weight room, see me, outside of the facility, that just means the world to me that they put their trust in me and I take the responsibility very seriously.
When all is said and done after this season, what do you want your legacy to be at Michigan State?
I just want to be someone who played a role in getting this place back to what I know it as.
This walk-on captain and hometown kid can leave Michigan State better than he found it.
As a walk-on himself once upon a time at Oregon State, Jonathan Smith has a great appreciation for Edwards and his story. When we come back, we're going to be sitting down with Smith to talk about Michigan State's win over Boston College. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back to the MSU Federal Credit Union Coaches Show.
After last Saturday's thrilling win over Boston College, MSU head coach Jonathan Smith called it a beautiful football game with the environment inside a Spartan stadium all game long, to the way the two teams went back and forth and came right down to the wire. Quarterback Aiden Childs had 5 total touchdowns in the win, and punter Ryan Eckley pinned 2 punts inside of the 5-yard line. We sat down with Smith this week to talk more about that great win over the Eagles. We'll start with win over Boston College on Saturday. Obviously, the environment was pretty fun on Saturday. Just what did you make of the whole win over the Eagles?
Well, yeah, it was a bunch of fun to come out on top like that. I did think it was a great college football game, back and forth. Really, both teams answering, score swaps, all of that. Crowd made a difference. National television, and so hopefully, college football fans enjoyed a big-time college game, and I think it can be a growth game for us in regards to having to play for a long period of time against a good opponent, a quarterback who's playing well, and find a way to come out on top.
When you're in the middle of a game coaching, do you have time to take in the environment of what's taking place, or is that not till after?
Yeah, early in maybe before the game, you're feeling that a little, but outside of that, no, you're pretty locked in at the task at hand. You're always thinking about the next play. I need to work on that, to be honest with you. You got to enjoy this thing, especially what's been created here. Spartans Stadium, Saturday night, that was pretty electric.
I feel like it's very underrated too, a skill of like learning how to win in a way. I guess do you feel like this team is starting to figure that out?
I think we're getting closer. I think it's learning how to win is starting with like not beating yourself, right? And so for us, continue to clean up, errors that we inflict, calling penalties, eyes in the right spot all the time, those kind of things. That's how you learn to win. And then ultimately, you got to demonstrate it. You got to do it. And that's why I'm hopeful this week, going to double overtime and finding a way to win against a quality opponent, it adds to our confidence level.
Like the biggest difference in the game was special teams. We'll start with your kicker, Martin. What just impressed you the most about his ability to go out there, kick a 50-yarder?
Well, yeah, moment wasn't too big. I mean, this first attempt of his career to be a 50-yarder to tie the game in the second half was a huge momentum swing for us. And the next time he goes out there, as the game's tied, an opportunity to take the lead in the fourth, and he bangs them both through. So, the stage was big for him, and he delivered.
I'm sure you didn't have nerves when you sent Jonathan Kim out last year, but were there nerves at all when you sent him out this past Saturday?
Again, optimistic. He's been working really hard. He's been dealing with some things as he's gone through, but you feel like that's the best decision to send him out there for that particular moment for the team, and he came through.
And then with Ryan Eckley, punter, arguably probably the best punter in the college football right now. What kind of weapon is he for this group?
He's been huge. After 2 weeks, I mean, the field position inside the 20, down to the 1 to 2 yard line a couple of times now, really in both weeks. So he's playing with a lot of confidence. I think we're covering it well in regards to protecting him, get the thing off, but then going and covering it. And so field position in the game of football is critical, and he's played at a high level.
Last week, he kind of compared kicking and punting to golf in a way. Are you a big golfer? Would you understand how those are similar?
I know Eckley enjoys golf too, and I think there's probably some of the routine of the feel of punting a ball, and because there is different distances, and same with golf as you're approaching the hole.
Are you a good golfer?
I'm not good. I do enjoy playing a little bit.
Design run. Charles up the middle for the touchdown. It's Aiden all day in East Lansing.
And I feel like you can't talk about that win without talking about Aiden a little bit too. Just, do you feel like that was almost the best he's looked since he's been here?
In a lot of ways, he continues to be great with the ball in regards to his decision making out there, the competitiveness. It's not always going to be clean in the pocket. We got to clean up some of the protection, but a couple of huge third down runs that continued drives. Pretty accurate. We got a couple guys in space with the ball that he was really accurate with.
He's obviously someone who's not afraid to show his emotions. He hugs the sideline reporter after the win. And he mentioned a few weeks ago when he was a freshman, he came to you and he was crying in a way. I don't know what the conversation was back then, but I guess for someone like that to not be afraid to show those emotions, how can that help him on the football field?
I think he is. He's just authentic. And again, this game means a ton to him. Wants to always be a great teammate. And so, wearing his emotions on his chest, however you want to describe it. I just think he's an authentic guy that is, deeply passionate about the game, gets excited when things are going well, and takes it really, really hard if things aren't going well.
Playing Youngstown State, MSU Athletics is inducting a new Hall of Fame class. Mark D'Antonio is a part of that.
Yeah.
What role has he played in just you being able to get comfortable here?
Yeah, Coach D's been great. Conversations from the get-go, from like day one, and continues to today. Perspective, been around, comes to some practices once in a while, been at games, shoots text. I've learned a ton from him. The way he approached it, whether we're talking program, how we practice, the weight room, recruiting, obviously did it at a Hall of Fame level.
Have you talked to him since Saturday, or does he kind of leave you
Something
alone?
over text? No, over text message. Again, he's following it close, and I look forward to shaking his hand this weekend.
After the game with Youngstown State on Saturday, MSU will turn its attention to Big Ten play. The conference opener will be against USC out in Los Angeles, and it was announced earlier this week that game is going to kick off at 11 p.m. Eastern time. So you may need some extra coffee or an extra nap that Saturday to catch the game between the Spartans and Trojans. That'll be it for this week's show. As always, we hope you enjoyed. Catch you next week.
Now, the play of the week, sponsored by Chupan & Sons.
Play action. Childs for the win. Got it. Omari Kelly sends the Spartans to 2-0.
When you're shopping, do you get cash back with cash?
Nope,
What about when you use a debit card?
not a chance.
But when you use MSU FCU's Cashback Plus?
Heck yeah.
Get up to 20% cash back on your purchases with Cashback Plus. Dining out? Cash back. Online shopping? Cash back. Home improvement? Cash back. Discover more at msufcu.org/cashbackplus.